everyone, my name is Keely and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another video. Now if you don't know, I run the Create with Soy and Shea Patreon page. Patreon is a paid service where you can come along, nominate which level you'd like to be at, and then in exchange I give you tips and tricks, recipes and things like that depending which level that you are at. On the $5 level I share a monthly recipe which is available for 3 months before it moves up into the higher levels, and this month I am sharing with my patrons a recipe for beard balm, and I'm going to take you along today and show you how I make it. Now if you would like to get your hands on that recipe, you can come and join us at the $5 or the $10 level and you'll be able to get that. And at the $10 level I'm also going to share with you how and why I formulated the balm in the way I did. Now there has been a couple of changes to Patreon since I first launched it. Originally you could only pay Patreon month by month, and they have just recently introduced so you can now actually pay for a whole year up front. So I have actually activated that on my page, and for anyone who does actually pay up front, you do get the equivalent of 1 month plus a little bit extra free as well. So if you are interested in what we are doing over on Patreon, come and join us. The links are down in the description box, but for now I'm going to take you along and show you how I make my beard balm. Let's go. So today I'm going to be making 3 different types of beard balms. I'm going to make one big base in my pot, and then I'll split it up for the 3 different fragrances that I want to offer. I'm going to start by weighing out my beeswax, and I'm also going to be putting into here my liquid oils, which include some avocado oil and some extra virgin olive oil. I will also be adding in shea butter to this, but because shea butter can be known for actually going all grainy if overheated, I'm going to wait until all of my waxes and liquid oils are melted down, and then we will gently stir in the shea butter. So now that I've got all of my liquid oils and my beeswax melted down, I'm going to pop this into my bain-marie system. I've already got my water up to boil. I like to do it in the bain-marie system so that I don't overheat my oils here. And then we'll be back once this is all melted down, and we'll add in our shea butter. Okay, so now that this is all melted down, I've just turned the heat off, and what I'm going to do now is add in my pre-measured out shea butter, and I am using an organic unrefined shea butter to make sure that I have got all of the goodness of that shea butter in here. I'm just going to put it all in, and then I'm going to just very, very gently stir it while it's still sitting in my bain-marie until all of that shea butter is melted down. Okay, now that I'm almost fully melted down here, I'm actually going to take this out of the bain-marie, and I'm just going to leave it sit on the side until it has fully melted. So I just got myself a clean cloth here, because what I'm going to do is make sure I wipe all of that water from off the bottom of my pot here, so we can make sure that we don't contaminate balm at all. Alright, so all that shea butter has melted down on me. I do have a bit of a confession. I have done one lot of my beard balms already because my little record button didn't actually register that I had pushed it. As I said before, I'm doing 3 different types of beard balms. I've just done the first one, which is one I'm going to be calling Salty Mariner, and it's a fragrance oil. It's actually really nice, masculine, aftershave-y sort of oil, but it's got some very strong ocean and sea salt notes in it, but I think a lot of people are going to like it because very similar to a beard balm I made before that sold out the quickest. So I'm going to move on to the next one, and again this is one that another fragrance that people really liked, and I'm actually changing the name from this one. I called it Fresh last time. I'm now going to call it Woodsman instead. So I'm going to measure out my fragrance into my jug here. it is quite cool today. It's very dull and overcast. First awful spring day we've had this year. It's been really gorgeous spring days so far, but it is a little bit dull and overcast, so things are setting up quick. They always do when you make balms. So we've got our fragrance oil measured out. Next thing I'm going to do is pour off some of this balm in here, and you will see it will start to set up on the glass jug, but I really don't want to heat this up too much because it will damage that shea butter or make it go grainy. If I do find that it is setting up a little bit too much, generally I just pop it back into my little water bath just to melt it all back down again. So let's scrape that in there, give that a bit of a stir. Whoops. So you can see it's starting to set up around the edges of my glass jug here, but as long as you keep that moving, it will remain nice and liquid and fluid. So I've given that a really good stir just to make sure that that fragrance oil is fully incorporated in there. Let's get all of that off the spatula. So as you can see, I've got my first sort of lot poured here, and I've got my next lot ready to go. Teared my scales out so I know how much is in each of my little containers here. Just give that another bit of a stir, and we're going to start pouring. Let's go from this side here. Alright, so I've got those ones all poured out. These two little tubs at the front, these are my little testers so people can have a smell, and if the men so wish, they can have a little bit of a try as well. So they are like my two sort of everyday sort of fragrances. I'm going to move on to the next one that's fun. I have just popped that big saucepan back into the bain marie just to melt it down a little bit, so we'll be back to do the next one in just a moment. Alright, so we've got those oils melted back down again. We're going to move on to this one, which, as I said, is going to be a little bit of a funner version. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is measure out my fragrance oil. I'm actually just using a little one of my tester ones that I've had. This is called Woods and Bitter Coffee, and it's a beautiful one. And if this proves to be really popular, I will actually get myself a bigger bottle in to do this one with. I was watching a program the other day called Hard Quiz. It's done by a comedian over here, and it's actually quite funny to watch. But there was this guy on there who he had a big full beard, and he had glitter all through it, and it just absolutely sparkled on the screen, and it just looked like so much fun. And I thought, well, you know what, why not? Let's make a beard balm for those men who are a little bit adventurous and like a little bit of sparkle in their life, and let's make a beard balm and add a little bit of sparkle in here. So I know I had exactly the right amount in here, so get that in there. First thing I am going to add into my oils, I have a little bit of clear, biodegradable, very fine grade glitter. I don't want it too thick because I don't want this to scratch. That's one of the concerns. So just enough, I think, is in there. And then the next thing I'm going to add, if I can find it, found it, is a little bit of the Blizzard mica. So we'll add a touch of that in as well, because I know that this one will add that sparkle and shine, but it definitely is not a scratchy glitter in there. Let's get that nicely stirred through, and hopefully I have got just enough to add that little bit of shimmer and not too much in there as well, that they're digging glitter out their beard for weeks on end. That is looking really, really pretty. So hopefully this will be something that will be well received by my male customers. We will see. They may just decide that they like the fragrance but don't want the glitter in it, so we'll see what happens there. Alright, so let's get another tray onto the scales just to put my tins on. I find it easier just to sit them on the tins so I can then move them around the workshop as needed. I have been asked where I get my trays from. These are actually lids from off of some plastic baskets that I've got my candle jar lids sitting in. You got the lids with them. I didn't really need them, and I thought they just made really good little trays, and they have been so useful because they've got the nice little lip on them. Things don't roll off, and really, really handy. And they're a nice small size, so they fit into my fridge as well. All right, that is looking really, really good in there. I am going to start pouring. I need this still warm enough that I can pour it, but I don't want it so hot that the glitter doesn't suspend all the way through. I'm going to melt the rest of this down so I get some nice smooth tops in my balm. So again, I'm going to go and sit it in that water bath so I don't get it too hot. It usually takes a couple of minutes just to melt it back down again. Alright, so there they all are. I'm going to leave these ones to set up for a couple of hours, and then we'll come back and we will label them up. I am almost at the end of my day now, and I know that these are ready to start potting up. They are nice and cool and absolutely no residual heat in them because there is no water in these, and they will not come into contact with water, or should not come into contact with water. There's no need to have a preservative in them. So you need to make sure that this is completely cool before actually popping the lids on. Otherwise, if there is any heat in there, it will build up some condensation in that lid, and that is where you then start to get problems with bacteria in your balms and things like that. So now these are completely cool. I'm just going to pop my lids onto each of these, and then I have got all of my labels, which I have printed up myself on a laser printer, and I use Corel Draw to do them. I've got my labels for the top, and then I have got my ingredients and also my little tester labels as well. So this one here is the shimmer, and you can see that Blizzard mica just shimmering through there. So it's not going to be one of these hugely decorative glitter balms, but there is going to be enough shimmer in there that as the men go out into the sunshine, it should make those beards and moustaches glisten nicely in the sunlight. So I have got all of my lids on there. I now don't need my gloves because otherwise the stickers will stick. I am going to start off by putting my little tester label on that one, so I remember that one is the tester. Alright, so to label them, I am just going to take one of my big labels here, line it up into the center of my tin. Going to grab one of my ingredients one. I turn it over so I make sure that it is still facing the same way. That's just a little OCD thing I have because I want them to be the same when people flip them over. So I'm going to get all of these ones labeled up, and then I'm going to apply some shrink wrap bands around them just to keep them nice and hygienic while at the markets. So this is how the Beard and Mo Balm look so far. So we've got our labels on both sides. Now because I do take these out to markets and people are prone to actually opening them up, sticking fingers in and smelling, I do like to shrink wrap all of my non-testers. So I've just got these little shrink wrap bands here. I'm just going to very simply place one over the top of each of them. Then I am going to use my heat gun and I'm going to seal them up so that they stay nice and hygienically clean for whoever comes along and buys them. Okay, so they are now all shrink wrapped as well, ready to go both into boxed orders and out to the markets. As I said at the start of the video, if you are keen to get your hands on the recipe for this beard balm, come and join us over on Patreon. It will be available at the $5 level for the next 3 months, so that is until the end of this year, and then it will move up into the higher levels after that. Over there I also explain some of my oil choices for this and give you some other tips as well about formulating if you are on the $10 level. So I hope you have enjoyed watching how I made my beard and mo balm. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye.